Well, it is more crowded today. We almost have cars at marker 19. We have a record number of school buses here. It's pretty crazy. Welcome back to the Hennisphere, everyone. I'm at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas for the 51st week in a row, and the sign has returned to the front of the park. Also big for this week, Hurricane Harbor is officially open. This is the first day of operation for 2026. Let's go inside and talk about a lot of things that are happening with many Six Flags parks around the chain and other parks and other chains. Now we're gonna start off today by going in one of the bigger gift shops because last week there were quite a few things that were on sale at another gift shop, and I just wanted to see if anything in here was on sale. So far, I see a lot of Looney Tunes stuff, and I love that. A lot of this looks new. Yeah, everything looks great in here. A lot of Six Flags stuff, not on sale. They have a lot of America 250 celebration items in here. And I'm going to talk about some of the July 4th stuff because we have news on fireworks shows, new for this week on the app. They also have these really cool, colorful shirts in this front gift shop. I did not see these at Studio 6F, so this is where they all went. Now there is a new season pass offered. It came out this week. It's for pre-K kids who are 3 to 5 years old. And I believe I can ask about it in there, but I don't have time to wait in that line. Now, Viva la Fiesta is over, but I feel like they might have put up a sign at the front of the park if they had one ready. Maybe that's why the sign wasn't there. But the Six Flags sign is back, so that's a good sign. Boomerang has an extremely healthy line right now. It is out of the queue, and it goes down towards the exit. And the Premium Experience Center also has a line well outside of the door. That's the effect of 50 school buses. And maybe I'm just noticing this for the first time. I don't recall these signs being here. And same with these stickers on the windows, but they look really good. So I did ask someone at the front of Hurricane Harbor if the pre-K pass gets kids in for free, and they said they believe it does. So they weren't 100% sure. But I wanted to ask guest services, but the line is just too long. So let's move into Crack Axle Canyon. I don't notice anything new over here with any of the dirt or anything behind the fence, except for maybe this white pipe right there. I don't know, maybe that was there last week. But we have major updates here to our teaser campaign. They have redone the sign for the 2027 attraction. It now says roadside attraction coming soon, and there are claw marks on both sides of this. A lot of people think they know what animal it is, so let's have a seat and talk about everything in our Crack Axle Canyon curb chat. All right, we have a lot to discuss today. So once again this week, we had so much news inside Fiesta, Texas, outside of Fiesta, Texas in the Six Flags chain, and then outside of the entire Six Flags chain. I don't even know where to start. There's a lot of investment coming to other parks like Great Adventure, Six Flags Great America, and Magic Mountain. There is a new 2027 roller coaster that's pretty much been leaked. I'll talk about that. The Six Flags app has been updating like crazy. We might have a couple of fireworks shows coming up at Fiesta, Texas. And then Fiesta, Texas made global news. So I will talk about that. Man, I guess first things first, there are so many improvements around this park, I can already tell. Today is super crowded, probably because it's May, but also because the park was closed yesterday because of weather. There was a lot of flooding around San Antonio, and now the sun has come out and it's really hot. It feels great, and they have the new clues that have come out regarding the 2027 attraction. So last night, there was a full moon on Friday, May 1st, and we heard something in the clue on the Instagram account. Here's the clue itself. So it sounds like an animal, and if you couple that with the claw marks on what we see here in Crack Axle Canyon now, that billboard has claw marks on it now. People are theorizing two animals. Number one would be a werewolf, and number two would be a bear. I'll explain the bear part of it, but the werewolf kind of makes more sense. And in the clue from Instagram, it talked about May 30th, 2026. That is when a full moon is happening, but that's also when FT92 is happening. So now we know that this new ride, which appears to be a roller coaster, is going to be announced on May 30th at Zaragoza Theater at 8 p.m. So you gotta be at FT92 to see it first. But also the phone number's message from this billboard, when you call it, it's totally changed. It's a new message. It sounds like it's Jeffrey Siebert talking, but here's the full message in its entirety.
Hey there, the name's Jasper Bunyan. Reckon I beat y'all to the punch, cause I just snapped up a whole stretch of land outside of Crack Axle Canyon. Every dusty inch of it. Now, you don't fret none. Big things are brewing. I'm building a brand new roadside attraction across from the best barbecue joint in town. Old Blues Barbecue. Now, you know that kind of place that folks be hitting the brakes so hard you can smell the rubber. The quarry views, oddities, and a few of my, well, rare collections finally seeing the daylight again. Some of them have been locked away since the old mining days. Others, well, they tend to wander. Anyways, have you heard the whispers of 2027? Well, let's just say the ground out here's been rumbling in ways it hasn't since the quarry shut down. Maybe it's the wind sneaking through the cracks, but maybe it ain't. Now, what I can promise is experienced folks won't forget, even if they try. And once it's ready, the only thing louder than the tall tales will be the cheers. Now, if you're looking to be a part of something bigger than a Texas sunset, give old Jasper a ring back. Otherwise, I'll see you when the dust settles. Until then, keep your eyes peeled. Things out here like to stare back.
So it doesn't really talk about anything specific. There's not any wording that stands out to me, hinting at a certain kind of coaster, but I definitely get the sense that this is going to be themed to a certain animal. So again, the werewolf is probably number one because that deals with a full moon more than a bear does. But regarding the bear, people keep saying or theorizing that the number one prediction for this ride is a roller coaster similar to Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood, which is a Vekoma family-launched roller coaster. But people use both of those things at the same time. They never say it's just a Vekoma family launch, and they never say it's a ride like Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood. They use both of those. So my number one prediction for manufacturer has been Vekoma, and for the other parts of the top 5 list, they don't matter. Honestly, no one is talking about any other manufacturer or any other ride type except a Vekoma family launch. So I'm 99% sure that that's what this is going to be. I'm sure it'll be just like Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood, but is it going to feature a spike? Is it going to feature sliding track or a swing launch or a reverse section? I don't know yet. I don't know what the height and speed would be. I would assume at least 3,000 feet long and 50 miles an hour, but that's a guess. That's just a guess. I don't know any specifics, but it is weird that we keep talking about Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood, and then with the sale of this park, people keep mentioning Herschend. They think it's Herschend who bought it. It's like, are those two things just a coincidence that we keep talking about Herschend over here for one topic and Herschend over here for another topic? I don't think that's just a coincidence. It's just weird how they keep bringing up Herschend. Everyone else does. So we'll see. We will see. The most cryptic message for the FT92 event is that the next chapter, quote unquote, is going to be unveiled, or the next chapter will begin at FT92. That's rather weird to say. Another chapter is occurring. This park has already been sold once. Apparently it's happening again. So anyway, moving on to new roller coasters, Six Flags Great America has gotten a lot of investment in the off season, and there are work walls up teasing a new ride. And some really good photographers and content creators around Six Flags Great America near Chicago got pictures of a crate that had SFC Phoenix written on it. And that should mean Suspended Family Coaster. And it's a Vekoma apparently, because they have a Phoenix model. So it looks like Great America is getting a new Vekoma Family Suspended Coaster for 2027. They're not the only park getting a lot of updates. Magic Mountain has 2 areas under construction right now, and they are open a lot this year. They have updated their calendar all the way through December, which I noted last week. And for Six Flags Great Adventure, they have the most investment. There's a ton of love and care being put into that park right now. I love to see it. They built a roller coaster in literally 2 weeks, and it looks like in another 2 weeks, they'll have 4 more rides up and tested, hopefully opening on Memorial Day. That's insane. They're moving so quickly to make that park amazing again. It lost a lot of rides once King Dacaw closed and other rides closed, and people were not happy, but it looks like they're making it right. So if you are in the Philadelphia or New York City areas, you have an amazing park there that's only going to get better with time. They even offered an exclusive time to come to the park last Friday from 4 o'clock to 10 p.m. and that's unheard of. That's that investment that I'm talking about. So Six Flags Over Texas, that's mine. So Six Flags Over Texas is another one. They just released some ERT times for this weekend. So as of recording, it already happened, but on Saturday, May 2nd and Sunday, May 3rd, they're open extra hours. And that's that kind of investment I'm talking about, where they're gonna work on the ride operations there, hopefully get more than one train ops going on some of their coasters and reopen other coasters that are not currently operating. I love to see it. And I hope that some of that comes here to Fiesta, Texas. Today alone, it does feel like the crowd. Continuing on with my thoughts here on Six Flags Over Texas, what I'm trying to say is that it looks like there's going to be more staff in the parks to run more of the rides, and that might enable more trains to be run on some of these rides, because that question keeps getting asked every single day on multiple social media platforms. People go to the parks, the lines are like at least an hour on every single ride, and people are like, hey, why is this ride on one train and why is that ride not even open? I think we're going to see some of these problems get fixed, and it should happen around the time that school is out and Tormenta opens. And speaking of Tormenta, I have not heard anything about the ride testing just yet. I'm pretty sure that once it does begin testing, it'll be a minimum of 2 weeks before the ride opens for a media day or a preview. So I think the opening is going to get pushed until June. That's just how it goes. I think it'll still be open by the time the World Cup starts. And my thoughts on Fiesta, Texas, with some improvements, it does seem like some areas are getting cleaned up and repainted around the park. They're looking a little better than normal. I was really happy to see Bugs Whitewater Rapids open, as you'll see later on in this video. And there were some app updates to talk about. So there was a fireworks show happening on Saturday, so it's already happened, but they did have the first fireworks show of the year, and there are 2 more fireworks shows already planned on the app if you look at July 3rd and July 4th. I believe July 4th is the 360-degree fireworks display, and I don't know if July 3rd is going to be that as well. I think it'll just be a standard show, but it does not have a time listed just yet for that. Something else to talk about Chainwide is the chaperone policy, because that's been known to be a thing at Over Texas and Fiesta, Texas for a little while now, but a lot of other parks have adopted it this year. And it's not just Six Flags. For Enchanted Parks, Six Flags St. Louis had an incident outside the gates on opening day, so they have instituted a chaperone policy. I heard it taking effect at Six Flags Great America as well, and at Fun Spot America. So many different chains are adopting that, and a lot of parents are happy about it, and I understand why. But I think the implementation of it could be better, because it's wildly inconsistent across the board. Depending on which policy you read, it may say you have to be 21 to be on your own, or it may say you have to be 18 years old to be on your own. It's a little interesting, and it also specifies a different amount of underage people that are allowed to be under the supervision of 1 adult at a time. For some parks, it's close to 10. For other parks, it's no more than 5. But I read that one park is 2. Only 2 people who need a chaperone can be chaperoned by a single person. So my question is, well, what if you're a dad and you have 3 children and mom doesn't want to go to the parks? Does that mean you have to pick 2 of your kids to go and one of them can't go because 3 is more than the amount per chaperone? I'm a little confused by that. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I don't know. Just make sure when you're going to any of the theme parks nowadays, you check the chaperone policy so that you don't get surprised. It also takes effect at different parts of the day. So at Fiesta, Texas, it's after 4 p.m. But other places I've heard of being all hours that the park is open. And then another thing to talk about is Fiesta, Texas in the news because it made local, state, national, and even global news this past week. And unfortunately, it wasn't for the best reason. However, there has been a change in the way that people are commenting on this when they see it happen. If you remember last year, I went viral for some Supergirl skyflight videos, which I will not film anymore, and I'm not going to share them now. But I was asked by a local news place if they could use my footage, and I thought like, oh, this is a good way to get my name out there. But when they took it, they put their own narrative on it, and I did not like that. I did not agree with what they said about it. And a lot of the general public just saw it as drama, and they were shocked, and I hated that. Well, it's happened again, but this time it's by global news outlets. Like one of the pages that shared it has 18 million plus followers on X. That's insane. So millions of people saw this footage, and there isn't really anything going wrong in the footage. It's just that some safety features kicked in and the ride operators did the right thing by ending the ride cycle early. And to be honest with you, this happens every single day. It is not news. It's people breaking the rules, and this is what happens when you break the rules. You don't get to continue riding the ride. So there's nothing wrong with what's going on in the video other than this person's shoes are off. I think the rules are the person's shoes have to go with them. But anyway, the comments on these videos last year, I said, were kind of shocked, and people thought this was crazy and they wouldn't know how to react. But now when I read the comments on this kind of stuff, people are pushing back and saying, hey, this doesn't need to be shown because it's nothing crazy. It happens all the time. And someone definitely took their phone out on the ride, and that's a no-no. So don't act like this is crazy. It's happening because people are doing the wrong thing. They're not listening to the ride operators when they say leave your phone on the ground. And if you do bring it on the ride with you, do not take it out. Do not try to film when you're on the ride. I'm happy that the general public is showing a lot of common sense now and calling that behavior out. You should not take your phone out on the rides like this, because a phone falling from 100 to 200 feet and hitting someone down below could seriously injure them. I'm glad that people are actually talking about that now. So good on the general public for having a much different reaction to this, and not only understanding that that's a safety feature kicking in properly, but also the reason the safety features had to be followed was because the guest behavior was wrong. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to a content creator in California. His name is Dylan, and he runs the channel called Theme Park Obsession. Dylan has been documenting great theme park coverage at Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Six Flags Magic Mountain, and Universal Studios Hollywood for a number of years. I've followed him through many different projects over there, and he has decided to move out of California and start filming somewhere else. So as of right now, he left California and he's on his way to Orlando, Florida to continue theme park coverage down there. I'm really happy for him. You should check out his channel. It's gonna be a big deal when he hits 100,000 subscribers. He deserves it. So thank you, Dylan, for all the coverage over the previous 5+ years. And I know you'll continue to do great things down there in Florida.
And here is your update behind Bubba's. They still have quite a few wood pieces, but this trailer is new right here. Some of the wood that was on pallets over here is gone. And this whole area, honestly, it looks clean. I don't know if it was repainted or what. I see a bucket there. I don't know if that bucket is paint, but overall, this area looks better than it has in weeks past. Woo! The line for Dr. Diabolical's cliffhanger is the longest I've ever seen. Even Fastlane has a line. And here's the confirmation of fireworks tonight. Spring Blast at Park Close. I'm assuming this sign was always here, but I've never noticed it. Mission Orange. Here is your look at Bubba's Cafe this week. There's a couple more pieces of equipment out front. We'll go over here to get a better look. I'm sure they're working on the utilities and whatnot inside. There's a bunch of stuff there. Some stuff is stacked kind of tall there. I can't see anything inside because of the glare. But I don't notice anything new this week. You thought Supergirl Skyflight had a healthy line that's out of the queue?
Look over there, it's Superman.
Bruh.
There is one water ride operating today. So good, better than last week, but it's out of the queue. It's really good to have Bugs Whitewater Rapids back, and I wonder if the dragon is working this time. I wonder if any of them know that they might get scared. Oh, they are! Is it getting it? No, it's missing them. Oh, it's missing them. Dang. So we almost have the dragon back in operation, not quite. Now this is the best place to watch the Spring Blast fireworks. Again, you're not going to be able to see them after today because they're only tonight, Saturday, May 2nd, right through there. But across the way is something I was actually going to talk about this week, but the sign is gone. Where these sunflowers are, there was a sign that mentioned like the gold passes and whatnot. I was going to talk about them because at Six Flags Great America, they have signs that show off all of their events coming up for the rest of the year, including Fright Fest and Holiday in the Park. And I wanted to see what our signs say, because they don't say any of that yet. And here's your final place to give an update from, and I don't see anything new other than a lot of greenery because it rained this week and we got a lot of sun. So starting to get overgrown in there. But look at these school buses. That's a record for the most I've ever seen here at Fiesta, Texas. It is packed today. I'm gonna have to move quickly so I can get to work, but anyway, next time, hopefully the visit will be a little longer. And remember, next week is week 52, the 1-year anniversary of doing these vlogs, and I'm gonna give you a full cost breakdown of how much I spent to do this streak, as well as go to Disney and Universal and some SeaWorld parks for the whole year. And I'm gonna do a theoretical cost breakdown of if I did a streak like this at a Disney park, or a Universal or SeaWorld park. Today's visit is cut short because I was going to visit yesterday on Friday, but they were closed. So if you learned nothing in today's video, just remember these 3 things. No good deed goes unpunished. Subscribe to me on YouTube. And when you're feeling stuck in life, like our friends at Vacoma, like Boomerang, always say, push down, pull up. That was another day in the Hennisphere.